Yeah, no, to me, Eddie Maya, you the spokesperson for the Sukwachi. And also, you better won't come up. But I know won't come on never bone and next person can send back me and Sabu. I don't know, you better won't come up. I say a shed the entire president. I can't. Yes, I'm 12 for now. Meaning, Mr. President, when it comes to the question. I won't say, yes, I mean, it's a better body on the palm. My fire yokophobia, my judgment, so be they are ministers be some questions pa and associate to me and ya I was a very won't come over with you to come and find Chakesi more than pound for my executive producer I'm executive director prophet or this Yabapuku wherever you are good morning from Kokoyanko Shaupa if you have a prophet or a handsome prophet yeah a guy you will be out of Kokoyanko Shaupa I'm funny gentlemen and go so a gentleman. I'm perfect when I ban before that young call YouTube no why this year but sorry YouTube near or some partner Facebook or this about young call. I think it's a simple TV to share them live. Nah maybe a phone announcement my friend watch the while now your DM come. Coupon with Shira or not there, yeah, now on sign NGB. Man, you're big and out there buy. Yeah, but I'm saying, big one, and some back community will be doing come with you. And I'll pay Medini Academians for as usual. The commander, yet not in the income. I'm your champion, Madame Habamba, and conversations with Basia.
Baba transport abusiaku no mu eya na areho se obehu nipa bebre na yakoyisu enkumbi samena bi na ede eye enema bebre abegugu widie no ho sa wo hwe ya minsa benkum ha na mu a samena ye esia na mo yi eye transport shower gel e bia wo yo bia okoyisu samena bi okoyisu nkumbi ama yale bia ide aba ne nso be ana se bibia bisisi widie no so mekanfo eye shower gel edi amount onipa biara otimi biara bibi aka wedie so onipa tuntum we nipa kokko we chocolate color bibia bi si wedie no ho mekanfo eye shower gel edi amount iwo biara ne de ede e wo ho no mo ma wonsan de enka bi misraw enye no nko a ye wo eye de krami eye stretch mask obi beka sa papa stretch mask enu aduru ni ho no mo ne etie ne ye obi bi ho no ma ye fa no say etimi to say de me nipa that's the reason why and ye nua man no bi no sabi your stretch mask aye ne ho nam nyina wa yusu aduru sa enko ente na awiakata ban yi awi aye bo hwe awi aye bo na so be hu na wa she long sleeve adentia because stretch mask asay widie ni nyina wa yusu aduru anya ne pe wa yusu aduru sa enko ye nua man no bi ko awoso a enam nyinsan ti no mo so be wawie na ne yefuru so nyina stretch mask aye ne yefuru so nyina eno obi awale egu because of ayesa stretch mask inti sabi oyi ne ho no ohwe eye ne sremu a ne sremu nyina asai ena stretch mask inti wo se nipa we ena mekanfo eye adru ekita me eye stretch mask adru we ede amount me number no ena gu screen na aseno obi biela o se ma use stretch mask adru bi ma use anko no wo se nipa we na me na wo kasa wo nso ye de nhwe ye de wo nso nhwe ye me number no 0244 494877 0244 494877 Ghana fana baby bia wo biala ye de bi bebre o obi biala ofa saa ye product bi bia ton biara enya mfaso bebre efise sa uton box baako a wo se enya mfaso another box baako enye no nko a ye de eya we de kura mi eye after wash se ena nkrofo bebre enso edi adanse o se papa se ye jai eya spray eyisu se ye yisu spray mi se ye nto spray mi adentia se usi ne mana de kakra de eguma ti se de odi spray ai de egu atade mu enko me patwa de ase ma wonsan de enka be odi ofra ba bia wo bia so pe eya shower gel ni bia odi efre ope eya stretch mask so afre ope eya after wash so aye de efre your product bebre de e wo ho no mo odi ofra ye no bedi nkomo e benya ntobose achichema aye de ama number 0244 494877 eya Transport shower gel, Transport after wash, and a Transport stretch mask. Stretch mask, aje ni periana boso. Me can for stretch mask edrede. Ama me da say, na me kan. Yo.
8:21 a.m. is the time from the studio. Osompa in the morning, the Baba from Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. sharp near Shas. My Ghana ye and Kanko NTR. Instead of my mate, my fan and Tama Pa at the Efra. And I know Pabia, not you say a Diana Brain about Betina. Yen some, and any part of mine here, a baby. All right, somebody can make a show. I'm a pie. I for going and go say, my sister, my now on Quanquadia. I wish any probably over to me at the amount. I got 3 months, right? Brunia no Duhan. 2025 to say Bejano. I say, quite a new one. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Ghana President, and we shall for Jubilee House and Yasam Kitua. Bantapa na Ekoma. Na my senior colleague, Sadiq Adams, Ebisa question be. But Sadiq Adams' question will be sent as if 7 hours per no Shamadi. Now the response President Mahama the Mayens and to the phone. It was great and messy. Yes, she's a sad said, yeah. But a farm by Bisu no. Now we who's a service not president who can't talk a crack and no land there back up. Not President Mahama follow no can't talk a crack. Excavator and said something. Ghana, eh. Yeah, with the the press conference in never be Juma. You be doing come on. You now will tell your fan back. Yeah, to me at the home come over. You show me be different. A crab, a bear start because Mamma, young match and I am fan corners. And see, fast forward the balance. Nah, you didn't come on. See, and now on the 10th of September 2025, as from 9 p.m. going, the president of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, MET, the media, they have an encounter. Now will be a Quenya to a near Bisa and never call live from the studio. Now, Yako shed a course well home. Not yet do home come on. Young Quaboti Faminante. Now, Yanko head the chairman now pay and so. Now, young for judgments, Yanko Fatunenko.
Complementing this agenda, we have rolled out the Jumara program and the National Apprenticeship program, both of which are expanding pathways to employment, particularly for our young people and artisans. These programs are equipping thousands with the skills, tools, and opportunities they need to succeed in today's job market. Thousands of young Ghanaians are currently undergoing training under the 1 Million Coders program, our bold strategic initiative to build Ghana's digital talent base and prepare our youth for the jobs of the future. This program is equipping participants not just to access digital jobs, but to create sustainable employment opportunities through innovation, entrepreneurship, and global ICT competitiveness. Additionally, in the extractive sector, the Gold Board is formalizing Ghana's gold trade. As of today, gold trading is a reserve for only Ghanaians. This strategic move will help maximize national benefits, enhance transparency, and ensure that the wealth generated from our natural resources is reinvested in our communities and national development. My media colleagues, our reset agenda remains on course, and I've remained unwavering in my commitment not only to the promise I made to you in the run-up to the 2024 elections, but to the principles of honesty, transparency, and probity and accountability, that commission that would deal with the salaries and wages of all persons in the public sector so that we grow those wages together. We don't have the right to assault them or to manhandle them. And so we'll keep working at it. I mean, definitely, as a member of the GJA, a lifetime member of the GJA, there's no way I'll condone assault of journalists in any form.
GJA, your president, Albert Kwabnadun for on an or two are not all born in Semono. But your president Mahama do now say, Yen Sam 12 for was say as we need freedom. ɛsɛ sɛ yɛn nso yɛtumi di yɛn ho na efiri ɛnɛ de kɔ sɛ obi anansa ntwerɛni bi ekopie baabi adwabɔ bi ase a na sɛ timamni bi uhuna anasa politician bi uhuna manya wadwen so ba sorting ntwerɛni no so dia president Mahama pesa o kyerɛ nyina no sɛ munja yɛn ntwerɛfoɔ na yɛso yɛnyɛ yadwuma na ɔne a president Albert Kwabnadwomfoɔ akasa adi nkɔmɔ ɛno ho nkɔmɔ ɛna oguso a woli no mom yɛnkɔ back yɛnkɔ tia boti yɛnto aso
in our commitment for even a moment. Neither have we been complacent. What you are witnessing is not inaction, it is our steadfast adherence to due diligence, due process, and fairness in the pursuit of justice. This paves the way for the joint venture partners ENI Vitol, Woodfields, and the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation to proceed with a full plan of development of this oil well. This milestone brings us closer to increased oil and gas production, job creation, and enhanced energy security, reinforcing our commitment to responsible resource management for the benefit of all Ghanaians. We've also approved the construction of a second gas processing plant, GPP2, to double our national processing capacity and set the stage for cheaper, cleaner, and more reliable power generation. This landmark project alone is expected to save the country close to $500 million every 2 years.
To avoid lengthy preambles to questions so that we can afford as many of you the opportunity to ask questions. There will be 5
Feliso Fosu-Kwakye ye spokesperson Edema President Mahama. On one assigned Minister of Communications and Local Government. So Feliso Fosu-Kwakye na the spokesperson for President Mahama. Nti Mahama akasa wie ono ena so ba kasa yente the Feliso Fosu-Kwakye kan yanko.
With 4 questions in each batch. 2 microphones will be placed on either side of the middle row to enable these questions to be asked. So at this stage, I'll call on the ushers and stewards to position the microphones so that the questions could be asked. Okay, so the gentlemen on either side of the middle row are with the microphone. So if you want to ask a question, please put up your hand. You catch my attention, I will. All right, so.
So in this case, I'm catch it. Feliso Fosu-Kwakye papa yi ena oye the spokesperson meka se chiame ena President Mahama enti wa bie kwan ne de atum se isi a yansam twerɛ for that time no meeting ase ahana na wa bie kwan de atum se wa pese obisa President Mahama question bia no e kwan da ho obetumi abisa no enti now yankwa questions and some of the questions e bisa ni bi ne yanko tie nya no so a mampani ede maaye yanko ne yanko tie bi yanko
of Bloomberg, and then one lady in the middle to bring the number to 4. Mr. John, you may ask your question, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mr. President. Thank you so much, Fee, and having been given the opportunity to set the tool for the media encounter. Permit me to commend you for availing yourself for this media encounter.
Ghana Journalists Association. A 20-year friend said GJA. Your president and you know how I say. Your friend Albert Kwabnadwomfoɔ. On the D can be the open floor. On the D can ebisa the first question and sana yeni na yeto so. Enti Ghana Journalists Association, your president Albert Kwabnadwomfoɔ na aso do bisa question no. Yenko tie no.
For your commitment to transparency and accountability. Your willingness to face scrutiny just 8 months into your term set a commendable example of good governance. We also wish to commend you for your assurance and firm commitment to safeguarding the safety and protection of journalists across the country. Now my question, Mr. President, as you may be aware, remuneration and general working conditions in the media are not the best. especially in the state-owned media, which falls under the authority of government. This situation is a key factor in our low ranking on the World Press Freedom Index under the economic indicator. What measures is your government putting in place to improve working conditions in the state-owned media and also to provide relief for those in the private media? Also, assault on journalists are on the rise. And I know this is of great concern to you as a journalist yourself and a proud member of the Inky fraternity. The Ghana Journalists Association would therefore like to know what your government is doing to address this disturbing trend. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, so Albert Kwabla for question obisa no now. Yet was yanko emwaya President Mahama de mano. Yanko nenkoti. Abusua di machi boko. Medika ka say ne show no eye star bi kakra. Di machi boko ne nante ne yensua de ewa ha. Now yanko te respond President Mahama de ma Albert Kwabla for GDA President. Yankoti.
Thank you very much. Kojo, you may have the microphone now.
Good evening. My name is Kojo Prekodankwa, Kesben Media. In your remarks, you did touch on the issue of mining, so, and I want to commend your government with the achievements you chalked.
Okay, so in this case, President Mahama and you know, and see yanko the next person I know bisa question. Yanko tell you time kuchu the machi now the yanko.
But recently we heard that Ghana Water Company is proposing almost about 280% increment in tariffs. One of the major reasons they raised has to do with Galamsey and how it is affecting them to get us good or potable water. In this way, I would want to ask, Mr. President, would you then consider the argument that we should have the state of emergency when it comes to illegal mining? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kojo. I believe I called the Moses of Bloomberg. Yes.
Your Excellency, thank you very much. My name is Akol Moses, a correspondent of Bloomberg.
A secretary in GBC compared as public servants. The private sector offers better remuneration, but that's why we have to work together to grow the national cake so that we can pay ourselves better. And that is why there's agitation for cancellation of Article 71 in the Constitution, because we all must feel the pinch so that we can grow things together. But when you cushion a certain constitutional class and they have more cushy remuneration than the other people, then it creates a kind of discrimination between public service. And so our advocacy has been for an independent emoluments commission that would deal with the salaries and wages of all persons in the public sector so that we grow those wages together. In our first incarnation under Professor Mills, we established a single spine salary structure. And that salary structure was supposed to uniform out wages in the public sector so that the disparity will not be too wide. So if you are a secretary in GBC compared to a secretary in, say, Bank of Ghana, there will not be that very wide disparity. Unfortunately, the single spine atonsium, because of the inability to maintain the discipline in public sector wages. Over the last 8 years, the group that is able to strike the most gets more addition to their wages than those that don't go on strike. And so the disparities have occurred again. And so we're in consultation with organized labor to see what we can do about reforming public sector wages. And I'm sure that if those wages are made better, journalists working in the public sector would also have an improvement in their remuneration. With the private sector, government does not have control there. And what happens is we have such a proliferation of private media that advertising revenue is not enough, to be able to maintain the kinds of salaries that we all expect. Maybe if we had fewer, then the advertising revenue would go around and people can have more. But our constitution guarantees freedom to establish a media of mass communication. And so you cannot restrain how many radio stations you have or how many newspapers you have. Their proposal, and Electricity Company of Ghana also presented their proposal. It doesn't mean that the proposal they present is what is going to be implemented. We have the regulator, which is the PURC, that looks at all the factors, including the exchange rates, including the cost of production and all that, before they determine what increase in tariff is allowed. And so the fact that you hear that water companies say they're going to increase by 200 and something percent does not necessarily mean that PURC is going to allow them to do that. Now, meaning about Obusa ECG then also, the same for both utilities. ECG so I propose 200 and something percent, but I know interest PURC budget to say me into electricity tariffs musa. Share a nyoma a core electricity production to say fuel nesan nyoma nina and sana omashe senya omo de tariff ni besi. Na MRP at the frontier your tariffs across run is a nipa bebre entria. Until we share ECG say your cast commercial and technical losses are almost 42%. I just say of electricity almost ton, almost to me a J a home akechia of only about 58%. Na no ankawia say afanabia ankasa ejumeya se wo ye ejumebia na bibia wotombia unya just return of 58% ankaba now ejuma na gu. Nso akoya aban de se a so na aban abeboa a so na aban abeboa enti afi de ya sesa omo hwe ejuma no so na ya kenya omo se omo sorry na omo nante na nia onkrofo mu wia iram kania no ni adini na ye nchechi omo na ye ntwe omo aso if says ye nyina atwa ebema eto no ebona from enti ejuma ye begu so aye.
Okay.
Bloomberg, yes, we're quite happy with the outcomes of the reforms that we have been implementing in the economy.
Okay.
And we have survived without going to the capital markets. We've survived without borrowing. Who could have thought some years ago that Ghana's economy could be run without going to the extent?
President Mahama edu electricity asem no so no okatwi me say anopai di machi boko wo de from 9 p.m. enu na do 9 p.m. na de we call so e bia na wada President Mahama emiti yansem twerefo ye bisa questions na we yi ano eno na wo hwe now ECG propose 250% increment 3 days ago and on the buy ya kan ho asem ye hwe se omo baji atum se ye ntimanfo ye ntua because ene prepaid a ye to ene kura ye hu so na Akufo-Addo former president e kan similar issue na bi asema mpani kan ye Akufo-Addo e kan be the same thing hwe mampani oti akonya so pese o kire se o blame yen Ghana for say yen eniama ECG worker indirectly. In this case, President Mahama pese o kire yen Ghana for say yemu binom ana yen Ghana for and ye cause the loss of ECG. Asana papa ne kan indirectly or say ebinumu entua prepaid ebinumu ntop prepaid ebinumu ya illegal so illegal connection for ni ade for no enema eka eba ECG the same thing na former president Akufo-Addo beka kire yen Ghana for say ye Ghana for timamufoɔ citizens no yɛn na yɛma corruption bribery and corruption ɛba ɔman Ghana Akufo-Addo carry the same pen America ya adwen kyerɛ no President Mahama so aba gyina ha ECG from ECG a eba besi ho as a state company me bisa sɛ sɛbe mfa so bɛn pa na yɛn Ghanafoɔ yɛnya free ECG mu ɛmfa so bɛn kan na yɛ use your old meters a eba mo bɛgyegye yɛ sika na etisen yɛnimu meters ni yɛnimu mo bala mba fetche na mo se already say nti yɛntua say na yɛtua ni problem fitimla is light ba Ghana ye free tua prepaid e free toll light besi nne kyerɛ me ade papa pa ECG atumi di abro man Ghana sa ade we camera we esi we is from ECG man ye nya so mfa so mo kyerɛ me fitimla ECG ba ye afi bia every 4 years bia ECG boka sisi ade yan Ghana for no ye na ye ma ECG for boka enti ye hwe prepaid anase dia sika ECG for nya free Ghana for ho a President Mahama pa kire say sika na electricity company of Ghana for nya free ye ho no edu ba bia esua the population of Enipa almost 4.3 million ye use light to Ghana ha research this say Enipa 4.3 million and ye use light e Ghana ha 4.3 million no sabe yentumi enya sika bia mfa free ye ho ECD enya sika bia mfa free ye nkyɛn eno nti ana ye boka ode abuchi de ento aso yentie President Mahama oguso okasa and ɛhɔ no de nkyerɛ wɔ ka atwi no abusua misi di machi obeti ase obeti mampani na ase yanko.
And so that's all we've done. Fiscal discipline, not spending money on wasteful, political interventions and all that. And that is already showing the successes in the market. I mean, we've gone from negative 3.4% on the primary balance to positive 1.1 as at now. And by the end of the year, we'll achieve the target. I'm sure we'll overachieve the target of positive 1.5. And so it's all about discipline in expenditure. And so for me as the president, I would not favor a quick return to the international capital market. I think we should go like this for a while and consolidate the economy before we look at external financing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Now, having taken a set of questions from this side, I would go to this side and take 4 more questions. Kamini, you may have the first shot.
Mr. President, Kamini Amano. I'm the host of TV3's Hot Issues. We look forward to your return to the iconic show. I want to talk about the local currency, the cedi. In the second quarter of the year, we saw a very bullish rise in the value of the cedi. We are not seeing the same in the third quarter. So far, we are told that it's lost about some 13%. When it was on this rise, the IMF had warned that the country was over-interfering, which is why we were seeing the performance. My question tonight is, Mr. President, did you manipulate the performance of the cedi? Is that why we are seeing the cedi fall as quickly as it is today? How do you explain this decline in value in such a short period of time? And what's the plan to revive it?
Thank you very much. Nana Mejakwa has the floor.
Patramidin Nana Mejakwa, Mia TV. My question is oral. I'm saying, Mr. President, what can PFA oral? Now, the last accountability series, Attorney General, a statement in Pesemi Redi Kakami quoting Kakranami to us with I wish to remind you of the fact that when I announced the Kwabena Edubwahi investigation, I was blunt in stating the fact that I am open to engaging in plea bargaining with those who have been investigated and found to have looted or stolen state resources. I means no words about my intentions and will therefore not shut the door to any accused person willing to enter into negotiations with my office for purposes of reaching a plea agreement. Yenim se ya criminal and other offences procedure amendment act 2022 plea bargaining. But my question is say you fight corruption. As Attorney General, State Attorney say we be na upon the atohonomwa. Say we loot state resource and as a fund bra. Then we negotiate. Does it mean say so obeti asese sikana me fire no metua ye jai no ana ndi wo hono mo ana me question no that's
out. And we saw an exponential increase in imports because then people could buy cheaper dollars and so they could import more, which is a natural economic phenomenon. But on the other side, exporters are not happy because they get less cedis for what they export. And so every country tries to find out a balance where exporters are able to do good business and importers are not overburdened by high forex rates. Where that lies, I don't know. I'm not a central bank. But the CD is making an adjustment, and I believe that it will settle at a certain rate, and we will make sure that any depreciation that occurs in the value of the CD is within a margin of about 5% per annum. That is what we target. And so for now, there's still speculation. It's also coincided with a period where we saw a reduction of 50% in remittances because citizens in the diaspora were taken aback by the rapid appreciation of the CD. And so if somebody was building a house, if he was going to send $100,000, it meant that he was losing a certain percentage of that 100,000. And most of them would decide to adopt a wait-and-see attitude and say, oh, no, as for CD, it's not possible that the CD can regain its value to that extent. By all means, it will go up again. So I'll hold back my remittance until the CD goes back up. So we saw a 50% reduction. But there were also some other factors. There were some money transfer companies that were collecting CDs abroad and not repatriating, collecting dollars abroad and not repatriating the dollars. There were other, which we're investigating, there were other cases where people applied through the commercial banks for foreign exchange to cover imports. And those monies are transferred to pay for imports, but the imports never came into Ghana. And we've studied a period of 4 years, and over the period of 4 years, about $42 billion was taken out of this country without the corresponding imports coming into the country. And so we started sanctioning some banks, and soon we'll start interrogating some individuals who ostensibly took money out against imports but never brought those imports. We want to know what happened and if there was wrongdoing to sanction whoever it is. While we work to stabilize our economy and improve the value of our currency, we must protect that currency because a strong CD is good for all of us. But when that happens, some people try to take advantage of it. And I think that we should all condemn anything like that.
Na dollar na sam na me pesa me kan bebre because aban we ba akonwa so no onti mi ngina ma bia nkasa without mentioning the dollar in the city's name nti wo de ho no enhyada ehia me say abusunya me si di machine ye nante Sadiq Adams ebisa President Mahama Assembly yenko ne nkote Sadiq Adams question no na yen follow enfamfiri ho na ye hu de etuam yenko enkote Sadiq Adams.
Yes. From Tamale. Sagani TV from Tamale. Abdul Mujiz, you have the floor if you can hear me.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, good evening. My name is Ba Abdul Mujiz from Tamale. My question has to do with the Tamale and Yendi water project. I would like to know when
we have been a number. There is a marketing social media accounts.
There is a maxim that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Should we be worried in your legacy term that the democracy you came to meet will be well oiled and that the three arms of government will work not in subservience but in unison? Thank you.
All right, before I come back to you, we'll cross over to Tamale and take a question from Abdul Mujiz from Tamale. Sagani TV from Tamale. Abdul Mujiz, you have the floor if you can hear me.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, good evening. My name is Ba Abdul Mugiz from Tamale. My question has to do with the Tamale and Yendi water project. I would like to know when.
Well, we seem to have lost Abdul, but I think I can continue from. We would like to know when the Tamale and Yendi water projects will be executed. Yeah, Sadiq, you have the floor now.
Good evening, Mr. President, and thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Sadiq Adams from Angel TV and Angel Radio. Mr. President, the question is on national unity and peace. There has been a recent spate in social media accounts created by unidentified people purported to be representing ethnic and tribal groups. We have seen some vile attacks, pockets of that on social media, TikTok, and some of them in real life. There has been a number of them, and we observe over 50 that has been set up particularly to attack and inflame ethnic passion and tribal issues. If your security agencies have taken notice of this, what are the measures being taken to ensure that our national unity and cohesion is protected by education and sensitization, as well as trying to put this in a context of not suppressing freedom of expression, as well as maintaining the national cohesion that we have because of these kinds of threats and attacks from social media on ethnic basis? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Joshua from GH1.
Good evening, Mr. President. I am Joshua Kojo-Mensah, GH1 Television and Star FM. I'm glad to hear that you personally are telling us that indeed steps have been taken to repeal LI 2462. But then I want to find out from you, the pro-environmentalist groups and then civil society, they want this declaration of a state of emergency. Where's the difficulty in declaring that state of emergency? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Mama Haruna from Savannah. And then we'll take a final question from the lady from GTV.
Thank you very much, Honorable. My name is Mahama Haruna, as you rightly said, from Savannah region, Inkligi FM. Mr. President, we expected you to say a little on the security situation in the country, especially the unfortunate Boko conflict, and recently the conflict in your own backyard of Savannah region. I know how uncomfortable you are with the conflict in your backyard between Gonjas, who are the landlords, and the Brefos, who are the settlers. They've coexisted for about 100 years until recently. I know you are more worried because almost everyone in your backyard, Gonjas, Brefos, will always vote for you massively, sometimes almost 100%. Now, I mean, since 1996, when you contested your first elections, first of all, I just arrived from Bole, where you hail from, and I can say that the people are not happy with the curfew imposed on them, especially in the beginning. People were dragged from their rooms and beaten. There's evidence to that. Now let me go to my question.
You may want to wrap up.
No, yeah, I'll wrap up. Mr. President, you've put in place, the Minister of Interior has put in place a mediation committee. do you think it can resolve the problem? Because some are saying there should have been a reconciliation committee. Moreover, the people are saying since the conflict erupted, they've not heard from you. So why do you have to tell your people? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the final question will come from the lady from GTV.
All right, boss, Yamame. You see, I didn't want to meet you for the Sofosuka who know. I didn't want to meet Chirikura and Hokra. Mom said, question na journalist we a bisano. Sabe, na if I present Mahama ho direct inti, on the upper kwamisu etwana Enkrofo kunkunkun omo ho e president Mahama na ankasa kurom a watumi achichiri curfew kese de ato omo so yetina ha bisa na asem a wo ba ba so na no ada ba tina fo ba bi se ombo na asem ne tofa na won jan fancy ho meanwhile obisa president Mahama asem papa ne te ho sabi obori tinko president Mahama te ho e obori tinko e wo su ni ti Onwani krom gonja hayao. Savannah region onwani krom haya. Enkwafo okun ekunu meanwhile campaign time president Mahama so ono de oba asumdue bokonne mamprisifo ni gonja fo ni wan tokwa no ebie ni ho ebesi. Ene ono achichiri curfew di akwakoto ne nkrofo ne so a omoda. Time ense so omoda. Na me da so gina Sadiq Adams question so me twen se mampani be yi na me pese wutie asema mampani Mahama eka me pese wutie asema mampani Mahama eka concerning TikTok, social media, TV. And now so camera wo disi we na wo te ho wo ye program and now nam Ghana wo ka asem bia ese yoko mefa wo me se me pese wutie kwan ya mampani Mahama efa so yi asem na no what
to present his evidence to the public, but I can assure you that there's no way anybody can interfere. I cannot be in people's mind to stop them from attempting to interfere, but I am responsible for making sure that that interference comes to naught. And so I closely monitor. I hold regular meetings with the Attorney General. He briefs me on the status of investigations. And so I'm confident that, the cases will go ahead based on their merits and that nobody would have the opportunity to interfere. If anybody goes lobbying people or paying people to interfere, they probably are just throwing away their resources. All cases will be investigated and come to their logical end. If people are exonerated in the courts, that's what justice is all about. We will do our part, and we're being painstaking in preparing the dockets, and that's why people are complaining that it's a bit slow. But you don't want to hurriedly take a docket to courts and have it thrown out on technicality, and that's why you need to make sure that by the time a docket is prepared and prosecution starts, you have a watertight case that will ensure that you get a conviction. And so that's the process that we're going through.
Okay.
There was also a question that was tied to water, but it also had to do with Galamsey. It says that the justification for water company asking for such a steep increase was because of the cost of treating the water. And I answered it in terms of the tariff, but not in terms of the Galamsey in the water. But in my statement, I indicate that we just started with the Blue River Guards. We're training more and more of them. These are long expanses of water bodies. And so far those we've trained are 600 and something. They are not enough to cover even the length of the Ankobra. And so as we recruit and deploy, because they patrol the water bodies, if they see any Shamfam machine on the water body, they seize it and we burn it, we destroy it. And so I gave you the number of Shamfam machines we have seized and destroyed. As we continue to increase the numbers of these Blue River Guards, I'm sure that we'll be able to cover the tunnel, we'll be able to cover the Pra, we'll be able to cover the Ankobra. And we hope that then we will start seeing, some reduction in the turbidity of the water. But even more than those on the water bodies, the destruction is the forest reserves, because the rivers take their catchment areas from the water reserve. So if you destroy, from the forest reserve, if you destroy the forest reserve, the river or the stream will dry up, because where it takes its water source will no longer exist. And so that's why at the beginning of the struggle I said our focus is going to be on the water bodies and the forest reserves, and then we can stretch out to other areas. So as we train more Blue River water guards, we would see an improvement in the turbidity levels of the waters. Bernard said I'm in danger of becoming a supreme leader. Look in my face, do I look like a supreme leader? And that is to paraphrase Prof. Star Atta Mills, do I look like a cat hunter? Do I look like a supreme leader? I'm a Democrat true and true. And even when we attained 2/3 of Parliament, I said that we're not going to use it to ride roughshod over the minority, and that we're going to give opportunity for democracy to flourish. And so we don't intend to use our 2/3 majority to steamroll our democracy. We believe that even though the people of Ghana gave us that overwhelming majority, it wasn't meant to turn Ghana into a dictatorship. They gave it to us in order that we could carry out reforms to make our governance better. And I think that we stand a very good chance with that 2/3 majority to finally move the amendments to the Constitution that we have all wanted. In the past, because of hung parliaments and all that, we couldn't make any progress, because there are some of those amendments for which you need an overwhelming majority. And so Ghanaians have given us that opportunity and say, look, go ahead and do these things so that we can have a better constitution that will take Ghana for many more generations to come. And so that's what I believe. But I certainly am not on the way to becoming a supreme leader or an autocrat. Yendi and Tamale water. Yendi, Tamale, and Damango are 3 urban areas in the northern regions that suffer severe water scarcity, especially Tamale. Tamale is probably the biggest city in the whole of the 5 northern regions. The population has been increasing rapidly, and the water system has not expanded as fast to meet the demand of a growing population. And so we have to urgently expand Tamale, Yendi, and Damango has become a regional capital. It has started growing very fast, and it faces a scarcity of water. The Tamale and Damango water systems are under an EU program, and recently when I went to Brussels, it's one of the things we discussed. There's funding available for those 2 water systems. And so because we have a cap on our credit, external credit, of $250 million a year, we have to find space within that to be able to accommodate Tamale and Damango water. But I want to assure you that they are priority projects for government, and we definitely would fund them and make sure that before we leave office, Tamale and Damango get sufficient water for those cities to thrive. With Yendi, we are placing Yendi under the Big Push program, and so we're going to fund it with our oil and gold revenues and establish an expanded water treatment system for Yendi. The budget statement is going to be read in November, and in the budget statement, details of these projects will be included in the budget. The last time the GJA came to me, I mentioned to them that as the world changes and new technologies come, we're moving from not having just the traditional media into having what we call the new media. These are all the new social media instruments like TikTok, like Facebook, like X, and all of them. And so the traditional sense of journalists like you, most of you trained and working in media houses that have a corporate identity and can be held responsible for the information that you put out is beginning to change. We have a new crop of I'll call them neo-journalists, who anybody with a phone and a camera can report news or comments on national issues. Now the point is, who holds those people responsible? And that's what he's saying. If you go to some of the WhatsApp platforms, or you go to some of the commentaries in the TikToks and others, we have what we call hate speech, incitement to violence. Those are criminal, despite the fact that we have removed the criminal libel laws. There are some laws that make such people accountable.
Okay.
Because if we don't regulate that sector, it can lead this.
You see, I want some American. I have not paid Mahama. Answer Sadiq Adams. Your question now will be said. Now, President Mahama patch say, you were some speech be across social media, Facebook, YouTube, na so far. Yeah, not any. My question to President Mahama this morning is, since when and I do we start here? I started that bang, as I said that bang, social media and I started that bang. So be the camera based in Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, I can want some no. I started that bang. Ye be so as some say. I dare not a question. No meanwhile, who the kind kasa say, abai amamona ubuno. Who use democratic, not autocratic. Fine, yati asiye. Nti who use democratic. See then no be can sem. Sabi metie meka say same netika kraka. Same emra ben pa na 1992 constitution ma kire say meka say same tika kraka sabi otimi pagya me de me kodina court. Ema black maria eba be family. Eno wasem na yebisa. Abusuya tie ahani yo. Yebisa President Mahama say si achichi ya ekoso yi. Iyoko a eba so yi. CID ne tete yo onu IGP mo o ma sorry. Eya koyem say 2/3 power na edema of parliament no. Asa wo ya yisu ama na bro so de hye yen Ghana for so. Ditum say ye no kure. Hwe Sadiq Adams question na obisa President Mahama no. Na me pese obi adu kwasu na nka oyi ano yi anase nka obi atie respond na papa ne de ma Ghana for no. Di omu ye bi omani da ho. Di omu ye bia anase in this case no se wo tie President Mahama yi a onye na adwin sa achichi no eba betwa ne o. Se wo tie ne kasa na President Mahama pa kire se and next also come and see when TikTok we then Yoko Babe foul. IGP Babe foul. Which is bad. And the end to my Ghana Muha, many pa end to be in Casas. I am better much like Asama man penina na no gusu a okan. Sa be pen or person or patch let's say in Chane. No gusu klampa, or to share no match chachi ho norma. Ede ka ho eno wasem no gusu a woka no woda wo mian kotie no na onka na no nsie no
nation to war. There are some of the incendiary statements that have been made in the Boko situation that are fueling some of what is happening there, making people hate each other and see each other as enemies. It's been the same in the Gonja Brefo thing, some people fanning and inciting violence against each other. This falls in the ambit of the National Signals Bureau. And so the National Signals Bureau now has the technology to use your IP number and find you wherever you are. So I'm sending a signal to Ghanaians that we can find you those doing those hate speech and things. We'll use your IP number, we'll trace you. And when we trace you, we'll deal with
Abusia Mo was my President Mahama I can wa ha. Tisi a so be use GPS address. Wa wo be so camera si wanim o TikTok page. O kan asem bi defa ne ho a. Ye beto akwa ba bechew. Na ono no free bi say hate speech. President Mahama let's not forget say Ghana practice democracy ewa ha asem na ene ade na aban we ahyase a oye no a ye mu binuma ye di na obi antimi nhwe nka ho asem na ebe affect ya nkasa because ko du mpempensuo bi so omo ya ade bi anase bibi ekoso a obi antimi nka na oman mu we mu enti o maye kokotie o se oboye kokko se efinali ko obi anfa nhye ne tim se wo TikTok account wo te ho na wo kasa na wo ka asemi for no pese mahama ne na mamu ho ene bibi bia ho a ye ba betu ye ba bechew ene munye ready yokodan mun biem mun sibi nka ho abusa wo da mo men kwetien ye nto aso why
you under the criminal code for inciting violence and disturbance of the peace, but I believe that beyond that we must start making regulation for this new media because it's unregulated. And so anybody just takes a phone and says, oh, this plane crash, I wish that so and so had been the one in the helicopter and had died, and dwarfs have eaten him in the forest. I mean, why would you say something like that?
This man, woman can grandfather today. Massa, then can grandfather today. Mahama, you 77 waba pain. Waba pain. And now, friend, I'll be catching say, will be any quench with me so phone this in me has set the grand tuana. Dear friend, I'll be catching so be any me so phone fencing and him and can I drink? No. I no pay. I said, my yes, I person make a son to free better many idea. Wo aban pa aban ko. Ye na e dey kokomotia to abade amount. Ye beto aba wo president mama Mr. Mike hwe makobole dim. Mo fa ncha me. Wo contract na mo de ba ye no sika na mo de ba ye say mi senior journalist ba ko mi mbo ne din. Mo de contract ba ye. Say ye use TikTok account. Enfa nya damage control, enfa nya campaign, enfa ma president Mahama. Wo tuto iPhone akese di ma me boy yo work aso yi. Oh. Wo de eye what to iPhone the ma way your friend say boy oh boy out oton trousers we o ka so yi omo mo ba begina ho to iPhone sakese mo do TikTok page wo ya ba bie no wo ha e de a kire camera e de anti na wo ba ka kire na say e ma obi antimi nso ne phone ti say plane crash na esi yi Ghana ni bia ni hu kwan so ne phone esi na nim ka say oh atorenche ma atu yi asem we ya esi ense senke ye ni sei ense senke ye ni sei dent na mampanu be ka we di a kire yi but ye be to abane de na wo hia your phones any your TikTok pages ye ba be to abane president Mahama ye ba be to abano waste printers and people your friend is saying, oh, bring your name. Ah, man, who am waiting about me? Oh, no, oh, boy. Mecca, no, ha. I know when I want to contract small boy, contract in the Mr. Mike. Mammy, go find me, boys. Emma, Muji or TikTok account, at the year campaign, President Mama Yawa. And Yawa. Mi senior journalist now what the your friend say asem ne ko fa ne so na madam Lordina o yire me pese me kan bebre e be si mi senior journalist ne so odi ba no me na odi envelope ni si mi so ka kira me say me farmer boys no mo use mo TikTok account no mo TV station President Mahama. It wasn't a traditional TV station, it was a TikTok account on their phone. You pay them omo di campaign so ma campaign no omo di ma wo no ampa FI when our followers were damage control so I know about fraud by as a president. That's a normal enquiry. Are you trying to tell us you know who can say to me can be an president Mama? What we are president and Utia Konyaso say normal bibi inquiry Mama person and say so be a TV station now on to me for camera and send munka and chana you Ghana ha. The one class in Yadma. What is this? In some 12 years to walk. Na president Mahama can say when na sikanti envelope e mo binu mi wiaje ahia botomunti obi ayedi ti wo okuta tutan in parliament fine and so hot she sabe when ya asem bia so amfa nya mfa example say plane crash asem we esi yi na odi ba beka atu wenche mo ye na asem sa to man Ghana bridge ya bosei obi didi okutane phone oskuori okwahu ya na wura ho je aduane di enkwofo adehia mama komako nwotwe kan obi anka wo se obi anu nkwan se otimi sofo mpoka se oh na nka oman ga na yenisi ankeye na nka yenisi ankeye hwe mum ye hwe ye ada president mahama eye odi ba oman ga na no opese o kire se obi anka na no ntum na mo de mo ntina ho mutiti mo radio station TV station sa mo kasa ye kwatra president mahama ni obi awu papa no obi ayedia so obi antumi nkasa anopai all the traditional platforms obi ayedi but asem na papa ne kan enye asem ne nye baby wakasa ba bedui any idea or boss like the plane crash in a sea you know obehu na obi afa phone na o de si nanim na okase nka ye ni say yankeye what and ya asem ne ba no anka mu nkosu musuan anka enda onko awo abochi e mama ne nkwani mo baby odu ya na me pese me to aso free wa baby odu ya pese me to aso di free wa adie we ya wo ye aban bi bai aban bi kwan man pani akufo ado abreso na TikTok wo ho akufo ado abreso mpo na TikTok bai meboa akufo ado aban so oban na TikTok bai but the TikTok ya di papa ya tem ya di ya MPP party ho aduma bibi kwan na bibi nya na obi timi fa ne phone kro ya o kan na odi akọ TikTok a kire na adwen na ayeye enti wo ba ya de benti na me say ye tete ha na president mahama ba na TikTok ye ntina ha ye tete ha na president mahama ba na TikTok na asamasa me say mumisa president mahama say iPhones na de ba during campaign time Mr. Mike tie me on tie me on hwa me Mr. Mike onim ho ye nim iPhones na de ba boys no me na me kofa boys ne 4 ba ye iPhone contract papers so the number of videos or mucha the it was TikTok. But I never been for a as a president. Enti Obianu kwan so on the phone. Edison and himself or kasa then abi. About yen to us yen
to present his evidence to the public, but I can assure you that there's no way anybody can interfere. I cannot be in people's mind to stop them from attempting to interfere, but I am responsible for making sure that that interference comes to naught. And so I closely monitor. I hold regular meetings with the Attorney General. He briefs me on the status of investigations. And so I'm confident that, the cases will go ahead based on their merits and that nobody would have the opportunity to interfere. If anybody goes lobbying people or paying people to interfere, they probably are just throwing away their resources. All cases will be investigated and come to their logical end. If people are exonerated in the courts, that's what justice is all about. We will do our part, and we're being painstaking in preparing the dockets, and that's why people are complaining that it's a bit slow. But you don't want to hurriedly take a docket to courts and have it thrown out on technicality. And that's why you need to make sure that by the time a docket is prepared and prosecution starts, you have a watertight case that will ensure that you get a conviction. And so that's the process that we're going through. There was also a question that was tied to water, but it also had to do with Galamsey. It says that the justification for water company asking for such a steep increase was because of the cost of treating the water. And I answered it in terms of the tariff, but not 2/3 of Parliament. I said that we're not going to use it to ride roughshod over the minority, and that we're going to give opportunity for democracy to flourish. And so we don't intend to use our 2/3 majority to steamroll our democracy. We believe that even though the people of Ghana gave us that overwhelming majority, it wasn't meant to turn Ghana into a dictatorship. They gave it to us in order that we could carry out reforms to make our governance better. And I think that we stand a very good chance with that 2/3 majority to finally move the amendments to the Constitution that we have all wanted. In the past, because of hung parliaments and all that, we couldn't make any progress because there are some of those, but I want to assure you that their priority projects for government is beginning to change. We have it, but I want to assure you that their priority projects for government, and we definitely would fund them and make sure that before we leave office, Tamale and Damango get sufficient water for those cities to thrive. With Yendi, we are placing Yendi under the big push, can report news or comments on national issues. Now the point is, who holds those people responsible? And that's what he's saying. If you go to some of the WhatsApp platforms or you go to some of the commentaries in the TikToks and others, we have what we call hate speech, incitement to violence. Those are criminal. Despite the fact that we have removed the criminal libel laws, there are some laws that make such people accountable. Because if we don't regulate that sector, it can lead this nation to war. There are some of the incendiary statements that have been made in the Boko situation that are fueling some of what is happening there, making people hate each other and see each other as enemies. It's been the same in the Gonja Brefo thing. Some people fanning and inciting violence against each other. This falls in the ambit of the National Signals Bureau. And so the National Signals Bureau now has the technology to use your IP number and find you wherever you are. So I'm sending a signal to Ghanaians that we can find you, those doing those hate speech and things, we'll use your IP number, we'll trace you. And when we trace you, we'll deal with you under the criminal code for inciting violence and disturbance of the peace. But I believe that beyond that...
So indirectly, President Mama Peso say be no Moria Bronya Nana. Indirectly, President Mama Peso say Ebi and Omodia Abronya Nana. Because Obia so come resin and Nima can adwin and Nasa Bia, watch the Adrian Nasa Wakasa for Bibi Hua. Nasa be one treat one Kunipa and Yabi Bia Seya. And no treatment any ana. President Mama, me a hankwada me no one yardwin. Me a hankwada me no one yardwin. Say one prepare and I say one yaho boy say, and I said, say now when I'm prepared, the Oba catcher and some 12 and send cow fresh our meeting no. At once I want a baby iodine. Babia ayedin na me nkwa na asem ne so biem me de besi ya besi bi o man ga na nyina yeti babia yeti wa ha Osompa in the morning live from the studio, Osompa channel GH on YouTube, Odesheba Poku on Facebook. Ma mo share wo Facebook ni Odesheba Poku. Na mo share nso e wo fia e simple TV. Maybe be phone lines back me no be akọ. Ma hwe na ma fa call back me no me ansa. Ya hu die etu ya. Ebren aye be aso. Yes, and come to me out for nipa me and so ya breno anya aya bia ne so ya be so like me bottle mo di o mine economy bottle to iPhone so the man for so mo fanya content em fanya campaign for my bet na ko nyas na same phone TikTok na aya asem na ne asem e koso bibi koso bibi chia then cash buy e must sabot na akwa for defense minister koko bottle na mo dey for defense minister o se ma yenka opposition then time opposition ye kwa koto presidential jet okuja to black kwatena ho with you president mama ka che say hu hia Ghana for ye hu chire ntie hia presidential jet say anya so den na ye ma na ye koto presidential jet to wonka that day enu na nke dey ko aye we nyina akosisi awia o say Ghana for ye to aba ye chire ya adwen a mo asa magja mamu na nka sa to ho amamo na sese mu magja no dia to ho na mo be attack yen Ghana for na ye ya to aba dia amamo no say me emfa fun ka ya adwen. Come on, Charlie. Baby, pop. Senka ya dwen Ghana ho a. Ya dwen Ghana ho na nka hu so o man no hu hia first pa. Anka beto presidential jet nka oboase na amoko no anka nya sa helicopter anka mo de be. Me de san ya me yakura nse wanya asem bia amfa nya mfa to hu se sa plane crash na asem no. What? So my beautiful answer there to why. I'm bad at the my friends is here now watch the watch. If I call me and pet me and I'm and pet my pong. If I call me and I'm and pet my pong. Was your number be there to me that hobbit me out for watch. I'm here was Simple TV live from your house with my friend. Share Bapuku on Facebook. Osompa channel on YouTube. Bet my face and I was watching the wagon here. Osompa in the morning. My Ghana be you. You already know so many. One so and any. Buy me a walk and a make. Mahama or Nyaba. In fact, my job, my job, papa. The reason why I made Diamond for campaign time 2024, before the election, 2 months before the election, the contract came. Mr. Mike. Sir, we swear. Senior journalist, we person about the it is from Kakrasa. This journalist. Lordina President Mahama is not fortune along way Toyota fortune and man. When him. What to announce a keeping send me the shit in Nasa Yankaya. But now when you are the man, some of them home. I am well few. I said, when the Lordina and Dow, who can you talk out fortune at the Amami senior journalist and how 2 bed in a compound or back castle, Munion is one directed, say I net 2024 election year 2 years. Then I'm in saying I TikTok on the phone. There are 2 bank politicians they use some of the civilians, some of the citizens, their TikTok, their personal TikTok account. Let me say about me and Casamani. The shares who followers who TikToker. Get me to iPhone the mount and the track content. My God. I have 2 years as a normal being Koswa. That will be can I do it as a citizen. Say, ya mechino. We are the Onkun Nipa. I was my beautiful lines now to wait my friend watch the one. I be sorry. I'm yard more than I sign 504-074-858. 504-074-858 with my friends and I was watching what we doing. Some in the morning. My Ghana be offering me some my mouth from the Mahama 8 months ago, and just only 8 months normal aircraft. There are national issues, national agendas where we away. 24-hour economic crowd share whole body campaign. Main campaign we out by one by young 10 won't come once a week. When you have TikTokers for so TikTokers in Facebook for when you have almost President Mahama. Shame on you. I was having a been Baba sorry. And I'm yard more near to me. I didn't your mind be fun to a pedia. You swear to me. All right. Sorry, not they were also to me. The man interesting and support into me. I'm not much and I reach me. If you are 12th of September 2025, I try. See me me production team no solid. As usual, Sammy, I am a cameraman. Abochi, they may come from one day the MCR and the director. I'm a producer. So I am Nana. Yango Pomen Shiro Muyepa. Na Onya or Mokasi. Penny Jerry announced was executive producer. I'm a director and so prophet or this year. And Yanko Poncho be over. I'm sorry. My family me call back, me call back with 90 minutes. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, me who ye?
I didn't know. We parted and I'm a friend. Our cutter, TikTok, Mr. Wina, would you phone with you when you know Macatana? Mama, I'm not a teacher, because of your democracy. If you democracy, there's a staff for the people to me. No, can't cut the opportunity. Editorial.
What's the name, Blabian?
Because of democracy, your democracy is here. Let us say, Colombia, and also be a team for a no, Casabia of editorial.
Casano, a bit said the President Mahama himself or Casano. One specifies a Casabia hate speech. So some of the hate speech they didn't hear Casabia said the
but all the time, Mama Casano, Oka about the break class, you know. Also, Cassie, you move your cat, I think a funny component of break class in the 18%. I think maybe I see the component in Yomo, and you put me at Mama Kwana, Emma, only poor military. If they don't,
okay.
Because of the local thing.
So in this case, so in this case, President Mama should have specified, say, some of the hate speech in way. But President Mahama say, on people be on Fafo, and friends seen a name. Am I young Casa?
Oh, I be saying to rock and yes, I was just what you know, or cause of me, because because of the I for him. Now, Casa open the out your baby now, Cato. Yes, that way, I brought you from Muki. Who could talk as a mama, the Eddie, the spokesperson, needed any say, oh, okay. Who could transfer to now Casacasura, a deal in the womb. Oh, yes, I can you, because of the democracy, super transfer. Now, I think you are now.
Okay. Martin, why?
You. Right.
But that's an unswallowed church. Bye, yeah. All right. I wish I'm a banner. I have been. Imagine now a bit see her. I may have my watching on me at was. I'm gonna be ye. Jimmy, no, you mean. Mahama, some now can or patch the say. Obia of fat TikTok and our fat phone, Edison and you. Not or children I've been according to President Mahama, son or can you? Not or children I've been a was in Bia. Concerning Sebia, young fans a plain class and young fan to home. The Mahama and children specifically and Cassa will become some A or B. The Mahama and specifies will become some A or B. Bisa wasemo. Me jina camera china me chere President Mahama say ade bi we say wanye ni yie wan amfa yie e wasem ko ye ni say ya. Obeso me abeche me ana. All right. Obisa me the Osompa in the morning. Live from the studio. Me pon abla me pon. Obisa me sorry. I'm yard much now. All right. Production team here, Sammy. As camera, MCR and director as Abuchi. Me producer the sound. If you have a solid team, you move. abeshia ebe sorry anya me ya adom ochina ya san aba abeshia na ye din komo ha ne wone pa yebre etumi ede ma me din ya akwada nya me nyansafo till then tomorrow same time we shall meet bye bye.
For your mobile biala kwa baba transport abusia ku no mo eya na areho se obehu nipa bebre na yakoyisu enkumbi samena bi na ede eye enema bebre abegugu widie no ho sa wo hwe ya minsa benkum ha na mo a samena ye esia na mo yi eye transport shower gel bia wo yo bia okoyisu samena bi okoyisu nkumbi ama yale bia ide aba ne nso bei ana se bibia bisisi widie no so mekanfo eye shower gel edi amount onipa biara otimi biara bibi aka wedi so onipa tuntum onipa kokko we chocolate color bibi abisi wedi no ho mekanfo eye shower gel edi amount iwo biara ne de ewo ho no mo ma wonsan de enka bi misraw enye no nko a ye wo eye de ekrami eye stretch mask obi beka sa papa stretch mask enu aduru no ho no mo ne etie ne ye obi bi ho no ye friend osa ye timi to osa ye de mani pa. That's the reason why and ye nua man mu bi no sabi yo stretch mask aye ne ho nam nyina wa yusu aduru sa enko ente na awiakata ban yi awia ye bo hwe awia ye bo na so be ho na wa hye long sleeve adentia because stretch mask asay widie ni nyina wa yusu aduru anya ne pe wa yusu aduru sa enko ye nua man mu bi ko awoso a enam nyinsanti no mo so be wa wie na ne yefuru so nyina stretch mask aye ne yefuru so nyina eno obia wale egu because of ayesa stretch mask inti sabi yo sabi oyi ne ho no ohwe eye ne sremu a ne sremu nyina asai ena stretch mask inti wo se nipa we ena me kanfo eye adru ye kitami eye stretch mask adru we ede amount me number no ena gu screen na aseno obi biela o se ma use stretch mask adru bi ma use anko no wo se nipa we na me na wo kasa wo nso ye de yin hwe ye de wo nso hwe ye me number no 0244 494877 0244 494877 Ghana fana baby biara wo biala ye de bi bebre obi biala ofa saa ye product yi bibia ton biara enya mfaso bebre efise sa uton box baako a wo se nya mfaso another box baako enya no nko a ye de eya we de kura mi eye after wash se say ena nkrofo bebre enso edi adanse o se papa se ye jai eya spray eyisu se ye yisu spray bi se ye nto spray bi adentia se usi ne mana de kakra de egumati se de odi spray ai de egu atade mu enko me patwa de ase ma wonsan de enkabo de ofra ba bia wo bia so pe eye shower gel ni bia wo de frɛ ope eye stretch mask so afrɛ ope eye after wash so aye de frɛ you product bebre de ewo ho no mo wo de ofra ye no bedi nkomo e benya ntobose achichema aye de ama number 0244 494877 eye Transport shower gel, Transport after wash, and a Transport stretch mask. Stretch mask aje ni peduana boso. Me kanfo stretch mask edrede ama me da say na me nka ho. Yo abusianfo ye mo bibiala kwa baba Transport abusiaku no mo. Eya na areho se obehu nipa bebre na yakoyisu enkumbi samena bi na ede eye enema bebre abegugu widie no ho. Sa wo hwe ye minsa benkum ha na mo a samena ye esia na mo yi eye Transport shower gel. Bia wo yo bia okoyisu samena bi okoyisu nkumbi ama yale bia ide aba ne nso bei ana se bibia bisisi widie no so me kanfo eye shower gel the amount. Onipa biara otimi biara bibi aka wedi and so onipa tuntum, onipa koko, we chocolate color bibi be si wedi no ho. Me kan fo shower gel the amount. It will be an any day e wo ho no mo. Ma won de enka bi. Misro enye no nko a ye wo the economy stretch mass. Obeka sa papa stretch mass enu aduru no no mo. Ne tie nie ye obibi ho no ye friend o say etimi to say the main pa. That's the reason why and ye nua man mu bi no. Sabi yo stretch mass aye ne ho nam nyina wa yusu aduru sa enko ente na awiakata ban yi awia ebo hwe awia ebo na so be ho na wa she long sleeve adentia because stretch mass asay we die ni nyina wa yusu aduru anya ne pe wa yusu aduru sa enko ye nua man mu bi ko awoso a enam nyinsa nti no mo so be wa we na ne yefuru so nyina stretch mass aye ne yefuru so nyina eno obia wale egu because of yesa stretch mass inti sabi oyi ne ho no ohwe eye ne sremu a ne sremu nyina asai enam stretch mass inti wo se nipa we na me kanfo eye aduru ekita me eye stretch mass aduru we ede amount me number no enegu screen na aseno obi biela o se ma use stretch mass aduru bi ma use anko no wo se nipa we na me na wo kasa wo nso ye de nhwe ye de wo nso nhwe ye me number no 0244 494877 0244 494877 Ghana fana baby biara wo biala ye de bi bebreo obi biala ofa san ye product bi bia ton biara enyamfaso bebre efise sa uton box baako a wo senya emfaso another box baako enye no nko a ye de eya we de kura min after wash say ena nkrofo bebre enso edi adanse o say papa say ye jai eya spray eyisu say ye yisu spray me say ye nto spray me adentia say usi ne mana de kakra de eguma say de odi spray ai de egu atade mu enko me patwa de ase ma won say de enkabo de ofra ba bia wo bia so pe eya shower gel ni bia wo de frɛ ope eya stretch mask so afrɛ ope eya after wash so aye de frɛ you product bebre de e wo ho no mo wo de ofra ye no bedi nkomo e benya ntobose achechema aye de ama number 0244 494877 eya Transport shower gel, Transport after wash, and a Transport stretch mask. Stretch mask aje ni periana boso. Me can for stretch mask edrede ama me da say na me kan. Yo abusian for ye mo bi biala kwa about Transport abusian ku no mo. Eya na reho se obehu nipa bebre na yakoyisu enkumbi samena bi na ede eye enima bebre abegugu widie no ho. Sa wo hwe ye minsa be nkum ha na mo a samena ye esia na mo yi eye Transport shower gel. E bia wo yo bia oko yusu samana bi oko yusu nkubi ama yale bi ayde aba ne nso be anase bibia bisisi widie no so me kanfo eye shower gel ede amount onipa biara otimi biara bibi aka widie no so onipa tuntum onipa kokko we chocolate color bibia bisi widie no ho me kanfo eye shower gel ede amount e wo biara ne de ede e wo ho no mo ma won de enka bi misraw enye no nko a ye wo eye de economy eye stretch mask obeka sa papa stretch mask enu aduru ni ho no mo ne tie nie ye obibi ho no ye friend o say etimi to say the main pa. That's the reason why and ye nua man mu bi no sabi yo stretch mask aye ne ho nam nyina wa yusu aduru sa enko ente na awiakata ban yi awia ebo hwe awia ebo na so be ho na wa she long sleeve adentia because stretch mask asay widie ni nyina wa yusu aduru anya ne pe wa yusu aduru sa enko ye nua man mu bi ko awoso a enam nyinsa nti no mo so be wa wie na ne yefuru so nyina stretch mask aye ne yefuru so nyina eno obia wale egu because of yesa stretch mask inti sabi oyi ne ho no ohwe eye ne sremu a ne sremu nyina asai enam stretch mask inti wo se nipa we ena me kanfo eye aduru ekita me eye stretch mask aduru we ede amount me number no enegu screen na aseno obi biela o se ma use stretch mask aduru bi ma use anko no wo se nipa we na me na wo kasa wo nso ye de nhwe ye de wo nso nhwe ye me number no 0244 494877 0244 494877 Ghana fana baby biara wo biala ye de bi bebreo obi biala ofa san ye product bi bia ton biara enyamfaso bebre efise sa uton box baako a wo senya emfaso another box baako enye no nko a ye de eya we de kura min eye after wash say ena nkrofo bebre enso edi adanse o say papa say ye jai eya spray eyisu say ye yisu spray me say ye nto spray me adentia say usi ne mana de kakra de eguma say de odi spray ai de egu atade mu enko me patwa dia se ma wonsan de enka bo de ofra ba bia wo bia so pe eye shower gel ni bia wo de frɛ ope eye stretch mask so afrɛ ope eye after wash so aye de frɛ your product bebre de e wo ho no mo wo de ofra ye no bedi nkomo e benya ntobose achichema aye de ama number 0244 494877 eye Transport shower gel, Transport after wash, and a Transport stretch mask. Stretch mask, aje ni periana boso. Me can for stretch mask edrede ama me da say nyamin kan. Yo abusian for yemo bibia la kwa baba Transport abusian ku no mo. Eya na reho se obehu nipa bebre na yakoyisu enkumbi samena bi na ede eye enema bebre abegugu widie no ho. Sa wo hwe ya minsa benkum ha na mo a samena ye esia na